Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 11. I had you get that first for me. What does it begin to declare there?
And it declared, as an eagle stirreth up her nest, flutter it over her young, spread it abroad her wing. Take it then.
As the eagle begins to stir up the nest, why does the eagle stir the nest? To make it uncomfortable in the nest so that the baby eagles can begin to fly. God has stirred up your nest. He's making it uncomfortable. It ain't supposed to be comfortable. It's not supposed to be working the way how you thought. It's not supposed to be happening the way you thought it was going to happen. God is stirring the nest because you're about to get ready to fly. I don't hear nobody up in here. I said I don't hear nobody up in here. This is why God had to stir some stuff up in here. God had to stir some things up in your life. God had to get certain things done. Why? To prepare you. Turn to your neighbor and say, I'm just in preparation. Don't mind me, I'm just in preparation. Don't worry about what's been happening. I'm in preparation. Oh, I don't hear nobody up in here. God's preparing me. God's getting me ready. You see, God is saying, I'm getting you ready. I'm getting you ready. But I got to prepare you. I got to get you right. So what does God begin to do? What does God begin to do? God begins to stir the nest on Moses. He begins to tell Moses, now get out of here. We see that Moses begins to run and he gets free from Pharaoh. But something else happens. He has to stay in the desert. You ever had a miracle where you got one blessing, but right when you get that one blessing, something else happens and something else cuts up? Oh, I don't hear nobody up in here. See, you acting like you don't know what I'm talking about here, but you just got your miracle, and right when you got your blessing, something else begins to mess up. I'm talking to you tonight. I said, I'm talking to you tonight. Moses just got his feet out. He said, I just got out. And all of a sudden, something else happens. God turns around and says, yeah, I delivered you out, but now you got to stay in the backside of the desert. See, we don't understand. What we have to understand is that every problem is an opportunity. You don't hear what I'm saying here. You don't hear what I'm saying here. See, some people see problems and they look at it as something like a failure. A problem is an opportunity. In every problem, you can find an opportunity. In every problem, you can find God. In every problem, God gives you a problem to find an opportunity. I'll give you a Goliath so David, you can become king. Wait a second. Jacob, you're going to run from Esau only so you can find me and I can make you Israel. I don't hear nobody up in here. I don't hear nobody up in here. I can't hear nobody up in here. So God is going to use your problem. You see, watch this. Joseph, I'm going to cause a problem and make you be the one to reject. Why do you have to be the reject? Because you cannot deliver them by being with them. So I got to pull you out. Moses, set apart. He couldn't go with the Hebrews. Had he go see the Hebrews, him being Hebrew, they would look at him and say, he talks funny. He ain't like us. He don't know. He hasn't been through what he don't talk like us. He talks like the oppressor. He talks like an Egyptian. I don't hear nobody up in here. So he couldn't go with the Hebrews. What does God do? Here he is. God sends him to the backside of the desert so he can learn service. Took him 40 years to learn it. Took him 40 years to learn it. I'm sorry, when he first came there, he had his chest all up. Him being raised in the lap of luxury. The Egyptians, their scientists are still studying the stuff that the Egyptians knew and understood. The Egyptians were studying magic and was studying things that even modern day science does not understand. Einstein got close when he started to talk about quantum physics, but the Egyptians understood this type of stuff. Even if you go to some of the temples on their walls, you see they have some of the best calendars. For some reason, they were able to understand all that. Moses was trained in all of it. God sets him aside. I can't put you with the Hebrews, because you'll become like them. And you can't deliver them. I have to separate you. You can't serve with the Hebrews. You can't serve Moses with the Hebrews. I have to separate you. Go to the backside and serve Jethro, so that you can understand what it means to serve, so that you can understand what it means to begin to scrape up manure, so that you can understand humility. Here we see an identity crisis. Moses, never knowing, really didn't raise up with his parents, but adopting a culture. I'm sure when he walked, he looked like an Egyptian. He smelt like one. The Hebrews probably couldn't even stand him because he smelt like them. But there God sends him to the backside of the desert. He begins to move certain things up in the nest, and Moses begins to work in the backside of the desert, and God begins to humble him.